Well, we have finally made it. We are in St. Louis for our CCL LAN finals. 8 teams all fighting for a national championship for the 2026 Black Ops 7 season. I'm Corn. With me is Cash. We get to be here in person for the first time, I believe, since the MW2 season? Yeah, so for the MW2 season. So no online casting this time, all of it in person. Gonna have some fun. Amber, pleasure to be back with you.
It's always great to get together, especially on broadcast. And like you said, being here at LAN once again, it's going to be a great time. Look, this weekend is going to be a whirlwind, I think. With everything we have going on, all of the teams being here, the energy in the building is high. I think this weekend's going to be special.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And you can see behind us, we got this beautiful LED screen and everything. We are at the Impact Gaming Center here in Fairview Heights. I will say this has been a phenomenal facility thus far.
Yeah.
They have done a lot of stuff to accommodate what has been a large production effort from everybody here throughout the CCL this weekend. We've got all 8 teams in the back playing right now as well, so it's going to be a very, very fun weekend. Let's start talking about the relevancy here, though. $15,000 on the line and up for grabs between all these teams. We have group play today, which will bleed into a bracket tomorrow. The top 2 teams from Group A and Group B will be moving on to the bracket tomorrow. We'll take a look at where the group standings are right now. Obviously, we're just getting started here today for our first day on Saturday, so you're not going to see all that much here, but we can at least show you who is in the different groups. If you haven't seen this on the timeline on Twitter or anywhere else inside of the Discord, Fisher, Oklahoma, Cumberland, and NWOSU, all within Group A. We looked at Group B with St. Clair, Mars Hill, Wichita, and Texas State. Lots of conference championships in here. Really, Amber, these are very stacked groups. This is going to be a bloodbath to try and make it to Sunday.
Yeah, when I was looking to see kind of what the order was, you could, as you were saying, put any of these teams, kind of anywhere in that pecking order. And for Fisher, Oklahoma Christian, Cumberland, and NWOSU to be that Group A, like you said, there's no easy, game today, no game you can say, all right, we can afford to get rid of this one or anything like that, because you were talking about kind of how you make it out of group play into bracket. And for the other side of things, you called to it also, look, these teams anywhere, you could flip-flop the groups, you could put them on a random wheel spinner. No one is going to look safe or be like, oh yeah, someone made out with a decent path. No, not even a little bit here with these 8 teams.
Absolutely. All right, Oklahoma Christian and WOSU, hard thing to say early here in the morning. We didn't get much sleep last night after all the setup, I'm going to be completely honest. So if there's any missteps here today, I promise, just stick with us. It's going to be fun. But we'll talk about these 2 teams and how their seasons have gone so far. Let's take a look at our head-to-head real quick between Oklahoma Christian and NWOSU. Realistically, this Oklahoma Christian roster throughout the year, more so than anything else, was something that we expected out of them. We expected the 3-time back-to-back-to-back champions, specifically here inside of the CCL, to really star and shine through. One of the big things, though, that we have coming into this weekend, at least storylines for Oklahoma Christian, this is good and bad news, kind of bittersweet for Oklahoma Christian. Cruzy Cod finally being able to go ahead and graduate, get his degree from Oklahoma Christian. Congratulations to him. Big, huge moment. I know he and his family are super, super proud. I saw them celebrating, saw the pictures on the timeline. Looked awesome for him, but that means they are without him this weekend. So their aspirations for a back-to-back-to-back-to-back, a 4-peat here inside of the CCL, is going to be potentially in jeopardy as they have Derry stepping in. Yeah,
with Derry stepping in, it's big shoes to fill in a sense. And I don't even know that that's the conversation they're having, right? I think more so it's going to go out and just play Oklahoma Christian Call of Duty. But yeah, of course, congrats to Rory. And, you can't say enough about what he's been able to do in his collegiate career. Topping it off with that bachelor's degree, fantastic. And yeah, zoning into Call of Duty here. It definitely is a talking point worth mentioning that, it definitely is a much more challenging path for them to take. It's going to take a lot more grit. I think he was kind of like the glue in the sense of that team and what he provided for them throughout the years of playing. So for them to have a step in here, again, you have the camaraderie still, they have the rapport. It's still going to be a different looking team.
No, it absolutely will be. 17-5 for NWOSU on the other side, though. This is a roster that was able to just squeak by onto LAN. They're able to play for the championship here this weekend. A lot of conversation throughout this year for NWOSU was a lot of question marks. We had a lot of question marks over some specific players. We were wondering what Biggie Cheese and Insenia would do for this roster. We know Agro and Nate were going to be players who would come back and be able to have a fulfilling season. We just weren't sure what the heights of this team were. The fact that they were able to make it onto LAN, though, is something that kind of spoke for itself. And I'm glad that we're able to see them here on LAN, because I think this is a big opportunity for them to kind of prove that, hey, this isn't a fluke opportunity getting to this point in time. Now we finally have a chance to go out and prove ourselves on LAN here. So I think against Oklahoma Christian here, yes, on paper, maybe the records don't look all that crazy, and maybe Oklahoma Christian got the best of NWOSU most times throughout the year, but on LAN it's going to be a little bit different. You're looking at a different roster. This is one of those moments where you look at a round robin where everybody's playing each other inside of the group and only 2 teams are going to be able to escape out of group play. All of a sudden NWOSU, you come out of the gates hot here. A lot of warm-up this morning that they were able to have, a lot of practice that they were trying to get in yesterday. I'm looking at this NWOSU squad like, okay, yeah, not only are they pretty decent, but this could be a very early upset potential for them. You know, you get off to the races here, all of a sudden you win maybe a close series, 3-1, 3-2, maybe even a 3-0 coming out of the gates. If you're looking at this weekend completely different, that is a great chance to get into Sunday. Obviously, there's still Oklahoma Christian on the other side.
It is still them, and early on, like you said, I think that will be the best opportunity for them.
Yeah.
You get time in group play to kind of feel the teams out, see where everyone's at, a little litmus test, but it is a very quick run test at that. They don't get much of a chance to say, okay, here's how they're looking to start, but you don't really get any cracks to say, okay, we're going to get back at them, we're going to try to do this. The map counts are going to be important, like you were kind of calling to. If you can win it anything faster than 5, I mean, that would just be, you know, unbelievable.
Sure.
You know, winning it all together would also be something that puts you at a great point, at least to start the weekend. So, yeah, like you said, you want to call underdog, call it what you want. Again, everyone here on LAN definitely fought, made their way here. But the Rangers going into this against Oklahoma Christian have a hill to climb, and I think early on, like you said, with them we saw them in here getting plenty of reps, everyone, you know, being on LAN, that it just, we talked, you know, even before the weekend coming into it, that you just throw stats out the window. You know, we know stuff on paper, we look at these numbers right here, both these teams looking different coming into LAN, so for what we know, it passes the eye test as far as what we should expect. NWOSU, though, definitely can come in here and, look, make magic happen, kick the weekend off on a good foot.
Absolutely. Well, look, hey, we know throughout the entirety of the CCL playoffs, regional playoffs, we had new maps that came into the rotation, but we didn't play that within our group set, within the teams that were playing inside of the regional playoffs and the CCL playoffs. Now we have the introduction of the new maps. So let's take a look at our Vito replay, because I believe somewhere in here we might have something that slipped through the cracks for one of these two teams. Let's take a look. This is going to be something brand new here for us in the CCL, brought to you by SitRep. A huge shout out to JPros once again for not only going through creating this entire website for us, but being able to have this as the replay here. So let's take a look at the hard point here. Up first, it looks like it's going to be a ban on sake for Oklahoma Christian. So neither teams have played this, obviously, inside of the CCL. We don't have any statistics for them just yet. On the opposite side, though, actually, that's quite interesting from NWOSU banning the Den here. Oklahoma Christian quite good on that map. Not a big surprise, though, all considered.
Having a look at the next pick for the Scar HP, that is going to be for Oklahoma Christian, and then picking it, look, it's not shocking. I mean, again, if you're NWOSU, you know, maybe you're happy to get this as what is going to end up being the map 1. Get a look at that and see what you can do. For Oklahoma Christian to pick it, they want to start it off on a certain foot.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see the Colossus search and destroy here for map 4. That will be the pick from NWOSU. This is a map that Oklahoma Christian is very touted on, especially when it comes to search and destroy. I'd be surprised if maybe that slipped through here for them for maybe a map 2 or a map 5. They love running it down. They love having those SMGs be able to get up in top middle control, running 3 over on a site. But as we continue to talk here for Scar, it's going to be the ban on search and destroy for Oklahoma Christian. We saw that in the, I believe it was the CCL playoffs, where they just got picked apart on a Scar. I think it was like a 6-0. It was just nasty work. Was it this NWOSU roster that actually ran through them on that search and destroy there? It was either NWOSU or somebody else. I think it might have been this NWOSU team. It might have been Cumberland at the same time, though. I can't remember exactly what it was.
You said a lot of red teams here.
Dude, there's like 5 red teams here. It's hard to keep track of them all. Okay. Fringe S&D, pick for map 5. So immediately here, not seeing anything necessarily new in our overall rotation. We will have that Plaza S&D for map 2 and the Search and Destroy, which obviously remake here from Black Ops 2 brings it forward inside of our Black Ops 7 season. Oklahoma Christian going to be here on the Scar Overload, probably feeling pretty confident. Average difference is a +3, not as good, of course, as the +4 from NWOSU, but the 10-2 record and just kind of speedrun city for Oklahoma Christian. A lot of these overloads they played this year, so maybe a little bit of skewed data just because Oklahoma Christian has been that team throughout the Great Plains throughout the season, but a lot to be deciphered here. But we do have our finalized map set: Scar Hardpoint for map 1, Plaza S&D map 2, and a Scar Overload for map 3. That's our guaranteed 3. Of course, Colossus and Fringe towards the end of that. I look more importantly than anything else in that back half to that Colossus Hardpoint. Should NWOSU have themselves a lead, or Oklahoma Christian goes to a closeout opportunity for map 4, I think that's a map that they really, really like playing.
I think it's going to be one that'll, again, get them where they need to be, like you said in the series, whether it was an opportunity to have the lead or close things out. So I think for the series, seeing Plaza new, it's going to be exciting for us to also get a live look at it here, especially these teams coming together, playing it in person. I'm interested to see who's got what figured out on it already. You know, like obviously everyone's going to have their reps and scrims and everything, but for us to be able to see it here, for you guys to see kind of what everyone's feeling out on the map, especially at this caliber with this much on the line, though it is group play, but still, you know, you're at LAN for the weekend. Everyone's going to have to try to feel out this map. Can you get it kind of quickly tucked in the back pocket for the rest of the weekend? How well does it go for you in group play? Is it something you can kind of carry into Sunday if you qualify?
Yeah. One thing I will say about Oklahoma Christian, I know we talked storyline of Rory not being able to be here, Cruzy Cod not playing on this roster due to graduation if you're just joining us. But the one thing I will say is Derry has been kind of plug and play for this team throughout the last few years in the CCL, so there's not anything short of practice for him. He's going to be able to kind of just insert himself onto this roster, be able to assert dominance at the same time. And hard point on Scar, this is something that I look to Oklahoma Christian as, yes, you've been very, very good in this map and mode combo throughout the year. The one thing that I'm not in love with is the fact that you lose a very potent AR player in Cruzy Cod, not being able to hold down some of these lanes and be able to make some of those small little decisions that he makes, whether it be pushing market, whether it be making those late rotations, or being able to be just supplementary to it and the rest of the team in their pushes. I look to Scar as kind of a map where I don't necessarily think it's going to be something that is too glaring, but they are going to be missing a pretty big hole. I just wonder how much Derry can fill that hole for Oklahoma Christian, and if NWOSU can capitalize here in an early map 1.
That's what NWOSU has to do on the other side of things to recognize. Right? We talked a lot about Oklahoma Christian, and again, kind of like that fill-in as you were saying, but for NWOSU, that's going to be a point that they need to say, hey, yeah, Cruzy Cod is not here, so what are we going to do? How are we going to exploit the lanes that, hey, if there's a gap, we got to shoot it. If there's an opening where someone's out of place or they're late to a rotation, we have to make sure we capitalize. I think that's the conversation going on in the Rangers camp. They definitely want to make sure that Oklahoma Christian isn't a team that fumbles or missteps a lot. When they do, it's something where they've played them enough this season, they get the complexion of the team, so I don't think there's going to be any surprises in a sense. NWOSU just needs to be ready to capitalize on those opportunities when they present themselves.
Alrighty. Well, we've had a lot of conversation back and forth talking about Oklahoma Christian, talking about NWOSU. Scar Hardpoint, the first map that we will get to see here on LAN for the 2026 season. We're moving one step closer to crowning a championship for the Black Ops 7 season. Amber, it's been a long time coming since we were able to be back on LAN. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to watch these two teams go at it. I'm excited to see the storyline of Oklahoma Christian going for the 4-peat, to see if they can close it out here or if they will find themselves unfortunately falling short. You know what? We got a reset that we just got called for in the background, so we have a little bit of time before we hop into this. Let's talk just weekend predictions overall. I'm going to go bold here. And I'm just going to flat out say it. I think the team that walks away is the CCL championship champions in the 2026 season. First time that we're going to be able to see it, the two of us. We've watched them fail plenty of times in the biggest moments in grand finals and in semifinals and losers finals matchups. Always the perennial top 3, top 2. I'm giving it to St. Clair this weekend. I think they're going to take it.
No, I think that has to be, it's got to be a joint pick out of us for how much we have seen this team on LAN. Specifically, it's just one where, like you said, they find a way here. They cannot find a way to get it done.
Yep.
I know we were talking about, NWOSU and Oklahoma Christian in-game kind of exploits. You have a bullseye, you have a target on your back if you're Oklahoma Christian. Everyone is going to make it impossible. So, I mean, just speaking candidly, right, because of course you're going to be like, oh, the possibility of the 4-peat. This is St. Clair's best chance to win a championship. I think with that prediction, I think going into it, this now makes them the favorite. I don't even think that's a hot take in a sense. I just think with the roster and how complete and how tenured they are coming into the weekend, I think this is their championship to lose. I know we've maybe had that conversation before with a different looking Oklahoma Christian, and this isn't to snooze on any of the other teams here, of course. With how much Alex and I have seen and imagine you guys have seen over the years out of St. Clair, this is definitely their weekend to walk away with one, and I think anything less than that they will be sorely disappointed in. Yeah,
they got hot last year too. That was one of the things that we noticed the most is like St. Clair, that when they had Bendy, when they had Brandon, when you were looking at that roster, it was like, okay, there's a lot of good here, and there's a lot of plug and play that we talked about where it's like anybody on the roster can come in and they can win and pretty much beat anybody. But the two teams that always seem to have their number were Northwood and Oklahoma Christian. Northwood not being here on LAN this weekend. Oklahoma Christian being put at a significant disadvantage with not having Cruzy this weekend due to graduation. And then you also look to Fisher. Fisher is the one team that scares me for them. Fisher is still a very good roster nonetheless. Like, I know we're sitting here talking about all these other teams and we're picking St. Clair as a favorite, but don't be surprised if you see Fisher in a grand final come Sunday and you're like, okay, well, these guys look final, because they have played all individually very well over the course of the year, whether it be inside of the CCL or challengers respectively. All of them are still at the top of their game. Fisher's looking very good. I just don't know if I trust the Fisher Falcons enough to be able to take that grand final over St. Clair. So that's going to be the storyline that we take in the rest of the weekend. Let's kind of keep that out of the background for right now because we have a hard point to get into here in Map 1. The NWOSU Rangers, Oklahoma Christian. Map 1 here for the CCL Finals. We are finally getting kicked off under LAN, and Prada will open up with the first blood. It's Derry who connects on to Nate with the Semtex over the top. And inside of Market, Derry will be looking for Biggie Cheese. It's a slide through on Manny with the NPC and aim.
Early mid-map control coming through. And Senna going to be the one closest to at least contest time for the moment as the rest of your team's working out of spawn, but it's going to be Brady in the back line. Proto's going to get 3, absolutely going to give Oklahoma Christian the break as well. So now you're stuck in Market if you're Biggie Cheese. Once again, you got the rotation that you wanted. All arrows forward for Oklahoma Christian. They're trying to get these kills mid-map. A little bit of time on the board, but it's going to be NWOSU on the rebreak.
That's a good turnaround there. You look for Nate inside of P1. Manny on the back end will now go for the 1v1 challenge inside, and Senna will win it up close. It's Gus there for an immediate trade. 15 seconds left in the rotation over to P2 on the cards. How about those shots from Gus inside of Market? Keeps his teammate alive as Prado over the top as they're able to rotate on over. So it's a 1v2 now on the rotation. Aggro will lose that. You have Gus and Prado trying to just wrap this around once again, but it's going to be the lockdown of P2. If you remember this from the last time Oklahoma Christian played, P2 was their home spawn.
Can they repeat what they're so good at doing? As for now, things look good. Word's going to be in. Spawns are going to be flipped out. All eyes going to be forward. Aggro takes a big headshot. Rips him off the power position there. Now can the rest of the team fill in and get the kills? They absolutely can. You're going to have Biggie Cheese on a flank just to slow these players down. That's complete clearance. A quick break out of NWOSU. Exactly what they needed here. Yeah, that was huge. Being able to win the gunfights directly through the front. Not a second guess of where they wanted to go. They attacked directly through, and now it's Oklahoma Christian on the retaliation effort. Nate first gunfight up, and Senna will drop back down. Looks for 2 on the push in, now through. Good shots in into distraction. It's a bait and switch all the way through from NWOSU. Much needed time here. 20 seconds left on the rotation now. Oklahoma Christian are reeling. You already got Nate on the rotation out. And to have the guns this hot for NWOSU early, again, that break was huge because the time they were able to flip it to was just something that kept the game close. Like you said, Oklahoma Christian loves to exploit teams and really put separation early on. They did not let that happen. Now they have themselves in a position fighting for rotation. The map spread is fantastic. They have Oklahoma Christian playing off the back foot for the moment. You finally get that pick on Ensenna. You can work towards Hill, but it's going to be NWOSU Rangers in early. Aggro on the heady. Got 4 players from Oklahoma Christian flying directly at him. Derry's going to be the first one up for drive. And it's going to be probably there for a trade that should beat everybody, and it absolutely will be. So as quickly as NWOSU were able to break into P2, Oklahoma Christian say anything you can do, we can do better. They go 4 straight on top of it, 4 for 1 on the trades. They're going to continue to push into the spawns here. They read everything perfectly, have full north side control, and now should be able to read, hey, everybody spawning green, let's have some fun, and hold this last 30 seconds. 2 team wipes without a kill drop, a 9-team sweep between them, and yeah, as you said, now they get to kind of run around, not necessarily play with their food, but they definitely get to make my life miserable for NWOSU to get out and even try to contest this hill. With 20 seconds left, you know, they'll be fine to start working towards rotation. You're just saying, Derry, whatever you can hold down, we'll get that last bit of time. Not really going to give it much of a contest, but this southeast side of the map they have completely secured. It is going to be the Rangers having to work across for map positioning once again. They got a little bit of scrap time for the Warriors. They're only down 5 or so points. When it's all said and done. It'll be a near-tied game. Now they have to be called upon, though, to do another quick break. Aggro going to get the first challenge across. Slides back over. Really well played life there for him. Later on the right side through the shack. Drop down. Pistol shot. Awkward gunfight goes his way. Spawn's going to be held in the backside of blue. Manny the next one up to challenge. Hop over the half wall. Gunfight still looking around. Lurk on the back is going to allow them to continue to spawn back blue. That was a huge 1v1 for the back 40 seconds at this time. And NWOSU looking real nice to maybe set themselves up in a good spot, but Oklahoma Christian on an answer back. And the spawns flip out, so you know Oklahoma Christian, they're going to immediate collapse around this. They're trying not to let these players stay alive and buy time. Nate doing just that. You get to clean up finally, but the work is not done as everyone is bleeding through the front door. It's an indiscrepant trade. Now spawn's going to be parallel for the moment to Hill. It is going to be Oklahoma Christian in time. Derry locking things down on a 3 spree, make it 4 as complete clearance comes through. A tied game, but 15 seconds left on the board. Oklahoma Christian walk away with it. Every time a lead changes, it's like the other team that doesn't have the lead at that moment is the one who's on rotation next. So it really has truly been a back-and-forth game between both of these two teams. Maybe not necessarily the expectation early on here for NWOSU keeping it this close, especially on a Scar hard point, but this is where we said this is the capitalization opportunity. Manny on a flank through top, Green's able to find one. Spots the second one out on the plane, and I'm not too sure if he spotted him there or if he just didn't want to take the challenge directly with the NPC, but either way, surprising regardless. Biggie Cheese on the plane heading now looking to push forward. Gets the first one. Second one going to line up. Trade immediate. Nate going to land onto Nate. So that'll go 3 for 1 for Oklahoma Christian as they look to push to the front. They've got one more body they need to take care of. They absolutely will. Now trying to get positioning to the front of field the whole time. You're working to get a couple more kills clearance, and you just have to flood in. Just try to get eyes. You don't have any information on where these Oklahoma Christian players are. So as you slide out for information, you end up getting gunned down as well. It's going to be Oklahoma Christian with clearance. They're going to look to turn around. You don't want to let a flank come back through. You're going to get good timing if you're Biggie Cheese. You're going to find a couple. Can you get the third? You get the break on your own. The rest of your team can fly in through the front. A monster play there to keep things close.
Contestion on the back end. One top green. Going to be looking over right-hand side. Biggie Cheese for 4 in a row. Why not? Pistol challenge out now. Back 5 seconds, looks for the final one. It's Prada who will go ahead and claim the stake for Oklahoma Christian at the final moment. So we go back to P1. First 5 hills complete, 10-point deficit for the NWOSU Rangers, but they have the rotation out towards middle map for themselves at the moment. Full lockdown and a spread now for Oklahoma Christian. They're trying to flank route. They want to play this to mid-cut.
Waiting for each other. Seeing if they can get a pick. And I do like to play just of a slow develop, work your angles, find a pick, fill a lane. That's exactly what they're doing. They got to be aware of Biggie Cheese, who's trying to hunt for this kill. Man, he's going to call on the streak. He's going to find one and try to connect. Sure, all 3. If you want to play through cut, they played it over the top. Now they get a waltz into P1 for free. NWOSU has 4 seconds.
Through the wall, somehow gets the wall back. I actually really like that Hellstorm call in there from Manny, because here's the thing. You give a bunch of time up on P1 and then already you were broken pretty easily on P2. That's the snowball effect that starts to happen. The reason this game has been so close is because they've been trading blow after blow with one another. So now that they've gone 1 for 1 here on the initial side of time, it's about a 10-point gap once again over on P2 though. Oklahoma Christian this time have the full setup and they're winning the gunfights more importantly this time. Biggie Cheese on a trade back, looks by market. NPC challenge is going to be quite difficult, but he's got teammates rotating through. Middle map cleared out. Now it's a 4v3 push.
The moment where everything starts clicking for Oklahoma Christian, it has to be a quick response and it has to be a clean response out of NWOSU. You're going to fly in, get one, but a pinstripe kill feed goes. Gus gets a couple for the cause. Manny gets the cleanup on the last one. You had talked about it perfectly coming into P2. Everything moving in the right direction, looking good for Oklahoma Christian to finally take their first lead in a substantial amount. Because now it's 162 to 118. Sure, you get in for the moment, but you can feel NWOSU maybe feeling the heat a little bit.
Yeah, floodgates opened up for a moment for Oklahoma Christian, but now on the bounce back for NWOSU, you've got the back 30 seconds to play for here, which is very significant time, especially with how close this game has been. 15 seconds now on a push through for Oklahoma Christian. You got one on the inside of blue. Aggro looks to play his life down low, but it's Derry who pops a double. He was on the top side of red and can drop down and play the final time here. Now it's about the rotation. And NWOSU were able to have this last time. They held it down, but Oklahoma Christian were able to send 4 bodies directly through the mid-cut. Let's see if they can do it again.
And you can see, watching the back line, NWOSU want to play a little more cutoff angles. They're going to try to pick players apart before they try to work towards hill. Don't want to let them in through the front for free, but I mean, again, if it's not Manny, it's Prada with another streak, and those have been so influential here just to kind of shift the map further in their favor now as they eclipse the 180-point mark. So influential, and they know it. They're playing around them well. A quick break, though it wasn't the same looking complexion it was the last time around. It's going to be mid-cut NWOSU here. They find 2. Can't think anything else for the cause.
Oh, Manny with the pistol tries the final one as Nate is able to come back and retaliate with a 2-piece of his own. Aggro and the rest of the boys from NWOSU now will go 4 down, give themselves a significant portion of map control and look to push this forward out by blue. Spawn still deep here from Oklahoma Christian. Nades galore on the map. We're going to be able to take out a couple. The team nade was huge there, though. That basically sends them 4 down and solidifies the back P4 spawns for Oklahoma Christian on rotation.
And I think losing out in the scrap time is going to be big. I mean, you're talking 160 to 185. Now you're going to be looking at 200 to 146. So it's just one of those moments, self-inflicted wounds that, you know, sure, did they find 3 behind it? The team nade is what it is to that point. But those are moments of scrap time you can't lose much more, as now you've eclipsed that 200-point mark. If you're Oklahoma Christian, this hit needs to come together quickly. You find 2 picks, you got to fly behind it.
Hey, Nagro there. You're going to spot the last one out. Inside, Gus. Awkward gunfight. Win NPC inside close range. Laying down, looking for another hop up towards top blue. You can see the rotation to the backhand side. You got player 5 and Manny looking to make a flank route while Aggro's playing his life in toward top blue. First player out through the front door. No help here for NWOSU as they're trying to push into the front. As the Rangers are there, it's another pistol challenge that comes through, but a Manny double. Manny finds himself a 3rd. Last remaining player here out towards the front. Manny trying to go for 4. Can't do it just yet. Oklahoma Christian won't win off of this hill here, but they'll be close. About 10 seconds is all they're going to need on P5 if they lock down the last 15.
And you can see the desperation push. NWOSU trying to get into the front door just to contest, let the time sit gray, but that's not going to be the case. Enough numbers, enough bodies for Oklahoma Christian. Now as they surge forward, you're going to have Manny out on rotation. You are getting cut down on transition. A 1v1 here in the back. Who is going to take it? The trades come back and forth, so everyone gets wiped from the back line. Gus is going to fill that lane quickly. It is still Oklahoma Christian. Spawn comes in close for NWOSU.
It's about the last hope that you have here in the back. The Rangers now look to push forward. Derry up top on 5 in a row. Tries to hop down through the window. Maybe we'll just stay up here for a moment waiting for the reinforcements to spawn. They know they're in the backside of green. This is going to be basically a 4-man hit directly through the front here. Let's see who comes out on top of it. Derry, gunfight. Shots good onto Biggie Cheese. Weakens him up and backs him, but his incentive was able to find 1. Now a jump challenge out to the last 2 players pushing through. And NWOSU still not refusing to give this game away.
The flank, Derry's able to find 1, and now that's going to force heads to turn. That lets time sit gray. That works out for you. You're going to be able to get in from the back. 20 seconds to go for it. And again, Oklahoma Christian, I mean, they can sell out for it if they want to. They can apply pressure and at least just make the map mixy for next rotation. They're going to look to get in. They have to. They could do it here.
They might just do it with 5 seconds left. It's going to need to be a contestation in from NWOSU once again. They were able to at least get the first one. Second gunfight in the challenge there. It's Manny who tried to go for a 3-piece once again. The final nail in the coffin, though, might just be Gus, at least for the back end of P5, but on the rotation in the middle map, it's Biggie Cheese, the only one who might be able to get there for the touch, and unfortunately won't be able to find himself on time in time. So guess what? Oklahoma Christian, map 1, the back-to-back-to-back 3-time champions, take their first map on LAN.
And things really got going for them. Starting that second set of rotation, I couldn't have said it better. You really touched on how the use of that streak on the back half of P1 to know they wanted to use that to play through to P2. Sure, they were able to get, honestly, in NWOSU. They didn't let it, go full 60 their way, but you can tell that was kind of the catalyst moment where what they were calling and what they wanted to coordinate around the map, they started to make stick. Proto got the streak, did the same thing to open up another back 20 to front 40 seconds of hill time. But yeah, you can just see that second set of rotations. That's really where Oklahoma Christian kind of got into their game plan. And NWOSU, they hung around, but again, just really never quite had an answer once the streak started coming through. Yeah,
that's what Oklahoma Christian has done throughout the course of their collegiate stints. It's every year it's like, okay, well, we might be playing this team relatively close, and then that one moment that they take, all of a sudden it completely open door and they just flood right through it, right? And as we were talking about, yes, it was that streak in middle map that gives them positioning, gives them P1, and then it's all rotation over to P2. You let Oklahoma Christian string 2 hills together back to back, very seldomly, if ever, are they going to lose that lead, even against top teams like Fisher, like St. Clair. So in NWOSU, you played well throughout the first 5 hard points, first rotation. After that, kind of fell off a cliff. But realistically, it's just on the back of Manny and Prada doing Manny and Prada things. I believe when we were in the room, look, this is what they called themselves. Don't hate me for it. They called themselves the Asian duo. So that was what they wanted to go ahead and find themselves with. And, well, they give themselves, what is that, quick math? We'll say 73.
Yeah, the non-traded kills is what was really jumping off the page to me, too. 23 and 29 between them, both over 4K damage. Yeah, what more could you ask for to kick things off? At least from a slaying capacity, you talk objective play, Darian Gus, knowing when your subs are hot, right, you're just going to fly around and soak up time as they're clearing out lanes of the map. And so just a balanced effort. I mean, you just look at the scoreboard, I just think for me it's balanced across the board for Oklahoma Christian. Everything that needed done got done from different players. Everyone just role-played well that map. And like you said, NWOSU, they hung around. Again, the slaying, of course, has discrepancies, but whenever Manny and Prada play that hot, yeah, it can look like that. I just think back to, okay, they found that opening, so we're going to have to be like, next time, there is a soft spot, how do we find a way to close that and not give them such a big exploit out of it? But just a few highlights through here. Good play from either side. Really big plays, big moments. Biggie Cheese had a monster out there, too.
No, he did. I love what NWOSU were doing on the opening breakoffs. Like, there were a lot of moments, especially early on in the game, where they felt like they had some momentum to them. Like, that first break that they had on P2 was phenomenal. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what we were going to see more of them throughout the entirety of map 1 here on Scar. I just didn't see another kind of moment where Oklahoma Christian gave them space to take those gunfights. It wasn't like, okay, well, we found one, and then all of a sudden it's bam, bam, bam. Like, yeah, right here when Nate and Aggro were able to pair for 2 and to find all 4 down, that was the only other moment where I was like, oh, wow, that was a significant break opportunity that the Rangers had to give themselves map positioning. It felt like after they won those first couple of kills or were trying to play around the hard point, wherever it may have been, either A, they were just getting caught off guard from a third player being there, or they weren't being able to kind of push out in a way that was allowing them to still stay tight-knit close enough, but also then influence spawns at the opposite end.
Yeah, and I think what Oklahoma Christian calls on teams to do is, like you said, P2 break, fantastic, look good, wanted to see more of it, thought we were going to. I think what Oklahoma Christian does is you get to that second set of P2, they're like, okay, do it again. Can you make it happen? Can it be that clean? Can it be that well executed? They call on excellence out of all of the teams that they play. You have to be able to consistently execute timely things around the map, and like you said, whether it's caught off guard on rotation, they throw different looks at you that make it harder to make those adjustments and kind of replicate the success you had found. But that's what you have to do to be able to take down this team. You have to continually replicate success and where you are finding good points around the map too, whether it be attack, rotate, things like that. They make it challenging at every turn, and we saw glimpses of it. NWOSU still opportunities that they will have to capitalize and, again, repeat what they want to do, not necessarily play around, okay, we need to counter Oklahoma Christian every turn. you can see NWOSU has a game plan, and they want to go in and say, okay, this is what we are trying to do. This is where we're going to go. And I think we'll see more of that, especially as the series goes on. And I think this map 2 is going to be indicative of that as well.
Yeah, I absolutely do as well. Just kind of taking a look at last year on their championship run. Let's talk about what worked really well for Oklahoma Christian when they were inside of the playoffs. One of the things that they were extremely good at was their hard point. Hard point was kind of their bread and butter throughout the entirety of the tournament. It's actually quite surprising how much they struggled in Search and Destroy, one of their kind of modes that you would expect Oklahoma Christian really to have prowess in. They were 3-5 throughout the playoffs last year on LAN, or when they were playing on LAN, which like to me is just such a weird statistic to look at, because like, yeah, they were able to win the majority of their hard points. They were able to win their controls, but it never felt like they were ever really kind of a good S&D team or the best S&D team. And that's not to say that they're a bad S&D team, but it's more so just like, where have the struggles come in? And without Cruzy having Derry on this roster, we talked about that being kind of something that might hinge them or kind of perplex them in game 1. Didn't do either of those two things. They would look completely fine, especially after that first rotation when they got settled in. And now in a Search and Destroy, this is where that plug-and-play player, though, really becomes like, okay, can you calm effectively? Can you be able to be in the spot for those first bloods? Can we really be all on the map together to really play our game? So that's what I'm looking for here out of potentially, Derry in an S&D, especially given the fact that last year struggles for Oklahoma Christian were, again, specifically in the second game mode.
And I think because they're so good in the respawns, you can see the 5-3, and like you said, almost gets overlooked, where it's like, okay, yeah, they're 5-3 in Search and Destroy, but they're winning championships, so what really does it matter? They find ways to close series out quick, and I think that statistic, even just for the viewer at home, the further a team can extend a series against Oklahoma Christian, the better they're going to bode. The more Search and Destroys you can make them face in a series, if you can get them to both all the way to a map 5, I mean, your odds just increase exponentially. 5-3 is, like you said, it's no snub of a Search and Destroy record, but it is something worth noting that is the one place that it's a pain point where you can, see a lack of cohesion, especially with Derry filling in and losing a stable AR player in a Search and Destroy. Also, just an IGL, right? A guy who can make decisions. 100%. I think Gus is definitely also going to be that guy for them today. For sure. But you lose Cruzy and Tandem. They were the ones that kind of called the shots, and for it to just kind of have to delegate a little bit more here, I think the Search and Destroy has a chance to look a little choppier. It's still OCU. I'm not, again, we're not, calling this to say, oh, it's going to be just, they're going to be completely lost on the map. No, but just it's the little things, the details that I think will look different for Oklahoma Christian. And as we see them, I know we call them out and things like that. But I'm just excited to see if NWOSU are able to find a way to also see those little details and find ways to capitalize and just string that to round wins. You can't win the whole Search and Destroy in one round. Yeah. You've got to go, what each one looks like. And I think that if they can manage each round the best they can, First Bloods is a good way to start that. Sure. They should be in good shape going to the map too.
Yeah, I was also kind of just looking through here too. Also, shout out to John for getting all the statistics that we had from last year. If you're wondering why I'm looking down here, yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of stats because I'm curious to see the year-over-year difference between Oklahoma Christian. One of the things I was looking at before the series started was how the S&D comparatively last year was to Oklahoma Christian this year. Because in Oklahoma Christian series that they played this year, S&D has still been a struggle. I think it was that match that we had against Cumberland that we saw against Oklahoma Christian, where it really, in that Scar Search and Destroy, just was like, what are we doing? It just felt like they couldn't adjust whatsoever, and everybody was just kind of scratching their heads like, okay, that was a 6-0. That is uncharacteristic out of Oklahoma Christian. That was when their roster was at technical full strength with their starters. Yeah. The one thing that I was looking through in the stats, though, was who was getting the first bloods the majority of time for Oklahoma Christian, and that ended up being Cruz. Cruz was the one who was being able to open those win percentages throughout the entirety of the season thus far. And actually, we'll see the S&D kill leaders here. Cruz, Gus, Prada. Yes, that's great that Cruz, Gus, and Prada are all there, but Cruz, obviously not here. Gus at a .94 and Prada at a .84. You can see why the struggles are there. Obviously, Fisher, we can, just from this tell that their S&D has been great all year, but that's been one of their strong suits throughout the entirety of their tenure in CCL.
Man, I'm just looking over it. I mean, I'm really, no, I know. I just looking at it, you really, look, you really want to call the numbers because they're in front of us and say this, that, and the other. We're not going to try to string together some kind of magic concoction of how can this .94 end up
we'll call a spade.
Yeah, it's going to be new for all of us here, especially I almost think it's an advantage in a sense on it feels like a neutral site, right? You're going to play on Plaza. It's going to be a new map where it's not one that NWOSU is going to maybe have an entire idea of what you're going to be doing. You know, they'll have an idea where your players want to get to, but I think it's going to be one that if there's ever a map to kind of lose your main guy, let's get lost on a new map. Let's just see what works for us and what's going to work here for us this weekend. So I'm excited to see what they do look to bring. And for the other side of things, NWOSU, again, coming out, you know, talking, kind of focusing back on the series, right? They're down 0-1 going into map 2. I'm not calling it do or die or anything. We talked about how much Search and Destroy has been an interesting talking point for Oklahoma Christian. Here from NWOSU, with it being on a new map as well, it's a 50-50, right? They have an equal opportunity to do just as unorthodox things as maybe Oklahoma Christian would throw. So you want to, of course, get an early advantage where you can. But if not, I think NWOSU just need to stay present. They just need to battle. Don't get ahead of yourself. There is no hill you need to climb just yet. You just need to find a way to string together cohesive offensive and defenses. Usually, Search, we talk about who can win the first. Usually talk about who can win the first offense, and I think the team that can kind of feel that out, get map pressure and presence first, is of course going to find success. But for NWOSU, yeah, they just need to go out and look. Say it's 0-0 once again. Let's see what we can do.
Oklahoma Christian looking good, and NWOSU, this is their map pick though.
Yeah.
And going into a map pick where you're kind of just, it's weird to do something that feels unorthodox on LAN, especially when you've practiced away throughout the entire year. That makes me believe that NWOSU feel very confident in the way that they're able to play this map. And look, Black Ops 2 a long time ago, but this map in a lot of ways with its 3-lane design plays extremely well inside of Black Ops 7. So it looks like we do have a few things in the background that we were trying to clean up. I know, LAN, who would have thought that there was going to be a hiccup along the road somewhere? Trust me, last night we ran into lots of them. So we're going to step aside. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have the continuation of the NWOSU Rangers versus Oklahoma Christian series here in the first round of the group stage. At Gaming Center here in St. Louis. My name is Corin. With me is Cash, back on LAN, of course, as we were talking beforehand. If you're just joining us, welcome to the CCL LAN Finals. I know we took a longer and extended break there. Had some technical issues that we won't necessarily dive into, but took a little bit longer to figure out than we initially had planned for. So if you, again, are just joining us, after map 1, Oklahoma Christian had a phenomenal Scar hardpoint that they were able to take by about 100 points over NWOSU. Here in Search and Destroy, though, we talked about Oklahoma Christian struggles a little bit before the break, though. NWOSU looking to capitalize on some of the mistakes that we've seen from Oklahoma Christian. Missing, of course, Cruzy Cod, which I feel like I'm hitting on everything that I've already hit on beforehand on this broadcast, but it was such a long break and people are still joining us from all around. It's like I have to kind of just reiterate some of those things for you. Yeah,
just a few of those talking points. And also, I mean, again, we're on LAN, so everyone is not playing right now, right? So you do talk about that downtime. You know, do these players at this level, does it, affect them, in an entire, way that's going to influence the series? No, but it is just kind of like a mental thing in the sense of, everyone's kind of waiting around for this to start back up the same way, we are here, but, we'll have things rolling as soon as they're ready for us. I'm not going to waste any time there, but yeah, with that downtime, it gives you a chance to also just kind of talk about what you want to do going to map 2, and I know a lot of these players take this time just kind of for the reset, right, using it for what it is. So you talked about that 100-point win. They're in map number 1. Map number 2, eyes forward. NWOSU, again, we, before even the break, weren't calling to, saying anything was do or die or anything. It's just, look, another map. You're down 1-0. The conversation starts. Where do you look to bounce back?
Yeah, and look, I think the answer is almost simplistic here for NWOSU in a really weird way. You go into your map pick, you have the ability to not only press tempo with Oklahoma Christian like you proved in map 1, but you have kind of like a newfound, like, okay, look, we get a mental reset period after map 1. It wasn't necessarily your technical issues that you were kind of worried about. It was the other side who had some technical issues. So now you get to sit there, you get to look back at the drawing board and say, okay, now we have a game plan here. We get to kind of just come off the mental reset. Okay, what do we do great in map 1? What can we improve on? And like, even though it's just a short amount of time, like say 25 minutes, 25 minutes, you're still giving the opportunity to just collect each other, get with another, and say, okay, what do we want to do here off the break in round 1? What do we want to do in round 2? Because I feel like a lot of the times, it's kind of like basketball in a way, where it's like you come out of a timeout, the next few plays that you're going to want to run, or at least the next like 1 or 2 that you're going to want to set up and run. Let's get to that in Plaza in map 2. Let's know what we want to do right off the rip as we start out map 2. Let's know what we want to do in second round on our first offense, first defense. How do we want to attack this? How do we want to go about that? And I think now that NWOSU is going to have that kind of strategy for them, I think that's going to allow them to open up. Now, does that all entirely depend and infringe upon the fact that they would have done that during that intermission? Yes. So we're just going to say that is jargon for now and go from there, because that's just conjecture at this point, and I'm just rambling because we're still waiting for map 2 to get underway. We've only seen 1 map on LAN so far.
Yeah. That.
Hooray!
We see a loading screen. Fingers crossed. Hopefully this is the one, but no, I mean, there's still points worth bringing up, of course, because sure. You said shorter break in 25 minutes. 25 minutes is still a break. A break's a break. But yeah, you would think at some point that conversation was had, even if it was right after they realized there was going to be an extended period of time, just kind of talking things over. It's still very early in the day. It is very early in group play. Like you said, each of these teams play each other 3 times. So a long day ahead of us. It's still match number 1 of day 1. Now we get into map number 2. It looks good on our end, Alex. Let's get this map underway.
All right, let's have some fun. It's going to be a straight bang out here behind the bar. First gunfight, the Biggie Cheese. Why not? Go for trades. Manny and everybody there. Okay, well, you get the first blood, and then it's just everybody immediately following suit and in line behind. A very quick round 1. It's about what you expected here on Plaza.
It was just bang out. 4 chow. Yeah. There's really not much to that apart from winning your gunfights. And yeah, Oklahoma Christian, they come out when they do it. So you threw something at the drawing board just to get a feel for the pace. It was fast, and I think that's something both teams are going to take and say, alrighty, now what do we want to do here off the adjustment? If anything, early on, a good look. Everyone getting a feel for how other teams are going to look to play Plaza. Oklahoma Christian, Manny gets 2 in the round. No one falls. First bloods, all things going their way to start.
You know what I say? I say let's do it again.
Sure.
Let's have one more time. Here comes a bang out. Nate this time looking for the first blood is Prada and Manny, who will double in, a trade back in. It's the exact same look, just a different first blood this time. Oklahoma Christian up 2-0.
You know what they say, bad things come in 3s. Is it too early to have the surely not conversation?
And once again, a round not to break down anything. It is just a bang out. It's that simple.
It's like 6 rounds of it.
I honestly, just give me haymakers over and over and over again. I'm cool with it. If that's what we want to get back to, I'm seeing everybody looking over to the right-hand side. Everybody's probably going, surely they're not going to run it down again. Surely they won't run it down again. And guess what?
Run it down.
Let's run it down again. Let's go round 3, baby. Come on. Derry first one out for the challenge this time. Shot's good on the 1. Drop down. They'll get 2 for it this time. And Oklahoma Christian, look, it's getting closer. We put the battering ram in the door. First time, didn't move it. Battering ram second time, you give a little give. This time, we're really starting to see that door move a little bit.
Maybe a screw out of the door hinge. I love it. I don't... Personally, I don't think there's anything we could have...
Is this more exciting than S&D could ever be?
Yes, I'm saying there's nothing... After a 20-minute break, I don't think anything better... We couldn't have written a better break off for the first race. I mean, hypothetically, we're halfway through the search and destroy if we keep playing it like this. Derry on 4 in a row. Only thing worth of note, aggro, trying to get 1 on the board. I see a wayward arrow out of Oklahoma Christian. I see 2. Okay. Okay, it is a mirror image. We're 4 for 4 on mirror image breakoffs here. You're going to give it a cut first if you're aggro. Just try to help your team. They realize no one's there. Maybe the stun connects. That'll be the call to back off. Oh, no.
Oh, timing good. Prada, first blood on a Nate. Challenge in now from Oklahoma Christian. Should have help from the backs of the bar, and you absolutely do. Manny second. Now 4 versus 2. 2 lines remaining here for NWOSU on the back end on defense. Derry spots 1 out. Second one there, and a beautiful bait and switch throughout middle map. Will at least lock things down, make it a bit easier here. Bomb goes down, 45 seconds left. 2v3 on the retake for the Rangers.
The chase. Out of Prada. He's just going to clear up mid-cut and say, okay, they have to be flanked from the back. Yep, got to get the green light. He'll get taken down, so you got to re-wrap quickly. You're trying to just wait for Prada to pinch. And Senna going to try to hunt him down. The pinch should be here quickly. This round should go their way, barring timing. 1v1.
Prada knows exactly where the player is, and the good snap to him directly as he chases in behind. It was a bit spread out there from Oklahoma Christian, all things considered, on a lot of those pushes on the back end. Give credit where credit's due to the NWOSU Rangers for being able to put it in a 2v4, give it down to a 1v1. But unfortunately, it was just on the retake there, just trying to find that last player. Thought they were probably going to be through middle map. Instead, it's just a moment where you get caught lacking from behind. Side swap, 4-0. At least it wasn't a bang out, and we can say that S&D actually happened.
It did. And Prada's on 5 in a row, and I think the thing worth noting from that round as well is that's the one play you do have to watch.
Yep.
Whether it's bang out towards the A site, whether it is actually something. He was the one making routes the entire map, so I think that's someone, no matter what happens this round, you very much have to get tabs quickly. Okay, where's Prada? Is he in the kill feed? Answer going to be no to start. Manny's okay, he's the trade.
And they will all collapse immediately after in a wonderful cacophony of
everything I just said, just forget about it.
Look, Prada and Manny once again proven to do what they do best and just outslay everybody on the opposite side. We said it beforehand. You can plug and play a lot of people into this Oklahoma Christian roster when you have those two frying. And this is, once again, another one of those things where it makes complete and utter sense. 6 in a row here. Hasn't died yet for Prada, but Manny, more important to talk about, 10 kills leading the way. Both Aggro and Gus on donut watches here for both of these two teams, so that would be a rare double donut. One on each side. Minute 25 left on the clock here. It's a bang out once again behind the bar. 4 versus 3. Numbers going to Oklahoma Christian early on. It's a Nate double. Now finding the last player falling through. Aggro, a long flank route back around. I pray that he kills. Oh, dude, I need a Gus versus Aggro 1v1 here for the non-goose egg in map 1 if Oklahoma Christian wins this round. Please give it to me, I pray.
It's Prada leading the charge. Just to give him a ring around the rosy.
They want to chase him, too. I don't know if they're going to be able to find him or not.
Oh, I think they will.
And Aggro's just continuing to run around. You can see the arrows just chasing all the way through the map here. Prada doesn't want to die. Has had a perfect search and destroy here on Plaza and map 2. Keep in mind, this was NWOSU's map pick, by the way. Just to go ahead and give a little bit of added context to that. And so not only was it bang out straight for the first 4 rounds, we have a bang out here at the beginning of this round. We play ring around the rosy the entire time, and we have wrapped the map 3 times between both of these two teams.
We did talk like, you know, unorthodox strategy. The fact that it has been cat and mouse the entire I don't know the last time anyone saw anyone. Is Aggro good for 1, I think is the question on everyone's mind, or can Gus get the trade?
Oh, but here it is. Behind him. Gus for the gunfight. It's Aggro who wins the 1v. Now a second one. Right side challenge won't come through. Oklahoma Christian, a DoorDash of a 6-0. One of the fastest S&Ds you will see inside of Black Ops 7. And it all comes down to both of these teams having egos and thinking that they can just run it down on the other one round after round after round. Fortunately for Oklahoma Christian, their ego gets to be uplifted. And yeah, this graphic is just going to be silly.
It's your first time watching Search and Destroy. This is about as
hey, to be fair, round 1 there, it was Oklahoma Christian who didn't get the first blood. It was actually NWOSU who got the first blood. It was Biggie Cheese who got in there. So, I'm never going to point out anything like that ever. I just want to give NWOSU at least the modicum of credit they deserve for very minute things in that S&D.
No, this is about as technical as it gets for COD. This is about as diverse as you'll see an S&D graphic. Yeah, no, that was just... That's 9-0 to 05 is crazy.
I know 05-10-4. And then 16363646. Like, wait, what is that? Quick math-wise, that's 11 between the entirety of the NWOSU team. 19 between Prada and Manny. Once again, proving to be the substantial duo that we have called upon. That is...
I mean, you know, and I'm not even going to act like... Look, Alex, you and I both know there's really nothing to chop up with map 2, but we do have to have a serious conversation. I mean,
let's do it.
As we pivot, it's time to get serious, guys, and we'll go through these Search and Destroy highlights, but I think it's a good time to transition the conversation. I know we're all feeling silly goofy after map 2. You're looking down the barrel of this 03. You're going to a Scar Overload where you didn't get dismantled, you hung around, but you're coming off of this map. Just, okay, Alex, I guess what I'm trying to talk about is where do you go from here? I think is
well, the good news is there's only one direction to go.
Yeah.
And that is anywhere further up than where you are at right now. This is not to hate on NWOSU, because that was a fun S&D, all things considered. I like bang-outs. Bang-outs are fun. When it's a bang-out every single round, that's when we start asking the question, okay, well, maybe do we want to try something else? If the answer is no, then more power to you. But now we go to a Scar, where you famously lost that map 1 by about 75 points. First rotation for them, as we were talking about in the respawn, very good. Again, if you're just joining us here, the hard point for the first 5 hills was really even. Oklahoma Christian had about a 10-point lead going into the second half. It was NWOSU who were set up on P1, and then Hellstorm got called in, mid-map got controlled. Oklahoma Christian were able to string P1 and P2 together, and then they broke early on P3, which gave them a lead that they never looked back on. They were playing with leader's advantage. That was what we were pointing to in map 1 and why it was so close at the point in time. And I don't think NWOSU necessarily played a bad hard point map whatsoever. Yeah. I think it was just kind of falling to the momentum that shifted in Oklahoma Christian's favor towards the end of the map. Everybody was frying. Prada and Manny, I think, combined, what was it, 73 that they had between them in map 1, when NWOSU didn't even get to that much as a team combined. The outslaying was there from Oklahoma Christian. So you go to a Scar Overload now. Again, the conversation was like, oh, you're missing Cruz and his AR. Derry's been able to fill this role perfectly, and he's played the AR exactly how Oklahoma Christian needed it.
He's doing exactly what you would want, and I think even though the role changes, you know, Derry for Cruz, I think the complexion looks the same as far as I think the story to map 1 to carry it in Overload, and really just to piggyback on everything you were saying, no matter who's filling whose role, Oklahoma Christian play with pace.
Yep.
Manny and Prada have shown us that through the first 2 maps. Picture perfect. If you want to see how a duo runs around and works in tandem off each other, that is the masterclass you would want to see. And I think them pushing pace, I think they feign a marathon or a sprint for a marathon. I think they're marathon runners that make things look like a sprint, force teams to get past and ahead of themselves. Like you said, you're able to sprint that first set of rotations with them. You're able to make things look good. You're able to hang around. The longevity where they have the endurance and the discipline, that's where a lot of teams start to falter and crack, and that's where Oklahoma Christian gets those wins. So yeah, I just think Oklahoma Christian, they're just very disciplined and they pace things very well within a map and within a series.
Yeah. Looking at the NWOSU roster here, you and I were talking about this earlier. We were in with all the teams when they were doing their media days for pictures and everything, and there is such a difference between people who know how to pose for pictures and people who have never been in a situation where they need to. There were a few players on NWOSU who actually were like kind of playing decently well overall. One of those players was the one that you see looking down directly at his phone. And the one on the bottom of the screen there as well, that's in Senna, as well as I believe it's Aggro. And look, we saw Aggro. He sat there, arms behind his back, just like staring down the camera. You could tell he played football at some point in time. He was putting bodies down on the floor.
That is someone starting linebacker, 100%. The pose was a little too familiar. They definitely, like you said, been there before. But it was a lot of fun, the media we got to do with the team.
It was.
And talk to them this morning and stuff. So vibes are high at this point in the series. Who knows? You can tell they're really kind of just taking it in, getting ready to go into map number 3. There really wasn't, any kind of crazy communication going on. But there really isn't much to say at this point, right? These teams know what they need to go out and do. That's just always the question. We know what we're going to do. The question is always, or what's being asked.
Can you perform?
Yeah, execution. Execution. Can you make it stick? It's group play. You'd love to. At this point, even just talking, getting back to the group play aspect of that is what we're doing today. Take a map. How much does that bode for you and your group standings, when it comes down to the top 2 teams? Can you get a map off this team? That's kind of what you're asking now. Starts here on another respawn overload. You got to come out swinging. You've got to come out big here. Can you put down Oklahoma Christian off the opening break? They do a decent job. Objective still open for control. Well,
you got 3 series in order to get to Sunday. You got to win probably 2 of them if you want to make it outside of your group. Right now, NWOSU facing a rock and a hard place between this Oklahoma Christian roster that they have in front of them. Middle map controlled, at least by now, by the Eagles. Manny looks to push his way into market. Got 2 bodies that are outside of green on 18, playing through Gen. Regen's back to 100 HP. Will look to the top side of red. Doesn't spot the body out there, but knows that he needs to push the line forward. The lead blocker has gotten into the spawn side and will stay alive with 2 HP. Has a gunfight coming up here close. Should be able to find Insena, and this should be Oklahoma Christian's opportunity to grab the device in middle.
You're trying to wait for this player mid-cut, and Nate trying to bait him out and get the kill. He is able to shoot Gus with the objective. You're going to try to get the trade, but the turn-on comes through. So again, Nate doing a great job mid-map where you had the lead blocker. You had won the 1v on the left side of the map. You end up getting cut down. They were apprehensive about that push, and for good reason. Nate executes, wins the gunfights behind it. You have map control for the moment.
Manny still on the spawn side, looking to cut down the player from market. Nate, the player you talk so frivolously about, the play that he's able to make on the back end to stop Oklahoma Christian's push is the one he will find next. Derry up in top green, still looking to push out the spawn side here over towards the B point of the green spawn. As you look to Derry now, we'll spot another one out. It's going to be Nate. 2 dotties down. Oklahoma Christian trying to fly this forward, and Gus will be the first one to approach that goal line. Will slide in for the payload detonation. 1-0 up Oklahoma Christian on the board first.
You're just going to keep applying pressure, too. You're not going to give up the map real estate, even though the objective changed positions. You still want to keep this pressure, and that does not look like a fun spawn trap to be on either side of. Who is it once again, if not Manny and Prada? That's now the SQ objective working towards the A side here. The collapse coming quickly. The pinch has to work even quicker. You're finding the kills. You've got to fly.
Good shots in from Derry. Turn back around, and Senna and Biggie Chi is going to be able to pair 3 for 2. And NWOSU Rangers now giving themselves a bit of positioning on the map. Down 0-2 here in the first half on a favorable side for yourselves. Trying to push into the red side. Derry up top. Nate gets good shots on 2. They go 3 for 3 once again. 1v1 for the back end of time. Middle map fully cleared out and flushed by the Rangers at the moment. Still go Gus and Oklahoma Christian really just holding pretty much every lane that the payload has been spawning in. That's been the difference maker so far for me, at least.
Yeah, just not enough pressure to force them out of those lanes. Like you said, they've just had pretty much complete oversight of whatever they've wanted. Now you can see the pressure being applied, and they're doing it with numbers. And sometimes you have to. If you can't win the 1Vs to get a power position, send it with numbers, bully it out, do what you can to get those gunfights won. Push comes to shove. The numbers battle does go the way of Oklahoma Christian once again, but you still have pressure out of aggro, and that's what he's doing, trying to buy time for his team. Manny, though, is able to shoot players off spawn. That's going to put a wrinkle in your plan. And Oklahoma Christian, when the dust settles, they're the ones on top, scooping the payload, lead blocker, and Derry. Going to be trying to look for a kill first.
It's been a lot of fun watching both of these teams so far. Everybody on the map has a real ability to play their lives and just allow the rest of their team to be able to support them over the top and come around for help. On the push forward here, Manny in through the shack. Unfortunately gets shot in the back through aggro. He's able to find 2 up over on the solar side. What a shot challenge from the pistol there. That's disgusting. Goal line stop, and Senna will be there and will finally go ahead and take it through. Punched in the ticket in. Rangers finally get on the board.
Well, that was a wrap back Oklahoma Christian tried to do through their spawn. They ended up getting caught out, and NWOSU just kept the pressure up, able to apply, get those kills, and slide one in. So a big score out of them, perhaps a misstep out of Oklahoma Christian trying to play the rewrap. Now you've got a little juice in the system. You can try to get mid-map control. Continue to apply this pressure. They've taken up across the 50-yard line of the map, and really Oklahoma Christian haven't had an answer for the moment of the pressure and pace they've been playing with. Can they keep it up? You cannot let Oklahoma Christian, those ARs, get back to those positions where they were locking down lanes. They're trying to do that here. Guess who's flanking to the back? Manny. You have to be wary of it because he's going to move quick.
Yeah, but Biggie Cheese was making a flank at the exact same time, and that will open the door completely on the north side of the map to get through plain side. So now you've got the entirety of the payload there. You've cleared out middle map at the same time. You've won the gunfights that are giving you the position at the moment. So yeah, Gus is on a flank right now, but how much is this going to really differ too much? You now look to push this forward. Aggro falls, so your lead blocker's dead. Now the payload's going to have to back off, and this is where the payoff can come in from the flank that is in. Now Gus is able to find 2. You look to the last 2 players spawning in from NWOSU. They're going to be down by bottom red and over on B. This could be an A push here if they're able to find Biggie Cheese up top, and they absolutely will. 3 versus 2 on the back end of spawn. You've got the lead blocker out, and Gus still once again, man, he finds it. Detonation good. Once again, Oklahoma Christian, a 1-score lead, 3-2 before the half.
And we'll see if they try to get one more in. 15 seconds left. The objective's about to spawn. We'll see if they look to make one more move on it here. Time dwindling down. 10 seconds left. Derry going to try to pick another kill. But for now, just playing keep away for the moment.
Derry, right challenge, picked up here by Oklahoma Christian. They're going to wrap this back middle map. Extra 30 seconds going to get added to the clock. But the only player left here from Oklahoma Christian is probably the one with the device in hand. The problem here from NWOSU is even if you're able to kill Prada with the device, that 30 seconds is going to completely expire, and the half is going to be upon us. So you're not going to be able to push that back out, get another score. Regardless, that was either going to end 4-2 or 3-2. It ends 3-2. We go to the second half where we switch sides. And NWOSU really playing a well game all around. It's just the moments that they have come in bursts. It's not where it's like it's full control all the time. The moments they have come in bursts where for Oklahoma Christian, it just felt like they had more of the map control throughout the entirety of that first half.
Yeah, if you look at even time of possession, it would definitely be favoring Oklahoma Christian. But those bursts got them 2 points.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it wasn't fruitless ventures. If they were having those bursts and getting no points behind it, yeah, that would definitely be a pain point you're talking to where you've got to make something happen. They are, rewarding themselves for the work they're doing. Now can they just make it a little more consistent, a little easier for themselves? Can they take some of this map control on this side? Or is Oklahoma Christian going to try to get early points on the board once again? Manny on the move quickly to blue, able to find one. What more can he do as his teammates look to collapse?
Yeah, this spawn is very, very hard to be able to get out of, especially if a spawn trap gets started. Of course, as I say that, NWOSU able to go ahead, break back, at least for the time being. The big thing is you spawn close to each other. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a lot of positioning that you're able to take. One player always able to survive through. Prada gets one in market and realize that there was one pushing directly through 18. You get 3 down. It's the final player now pushing their way forward. And aggro in the back line. Everybody will finally fall. Now Prada once again can push his way forward. Inside of top blue is able to find the first. And bottom P4, he spots out another player able to escape with his life. Somehow stays alive, turns back around to the top side of blue. And you're just causing chaos in the spawn side of NWOSU.
And this is a lane performance that you were hoping to keep slow, hoping to keep mitigated. He's just 15 and 15 on a 4 spree now, so he's been quiet to this point. If Prada can get loose, start kind of supporting Manny and what they want to do around the map, it's going to be very problematic for NWOSU here as this pressure continues to be applied. As the objective is scooped, sure, it's going to be 3-2 in the feed. Derry's going to cut down another one. The kills you need to start this round going your way. This should be a score.
Good information. Help over the top was there. Sure, the trades are in. But the dirty work has been done for Oklahoma Christian. They tailor themselves another point on the board. 5-2 is the scoreline now for the Eagles. Rangers on the back foot, reeling here in the second half. 3 minutes and 25 to play. Still lots of time for the Rangers to get something on the board. But again, it doesn't need to be a spurt here. We need consistency from them on their offensive hits. Here from the bottom side of red, they're going to be able to grab the payload. Prada top green looks over. Stun check. Good spots 2 out with it. We'll throw a nade deep on just to keep them weak and backed off. And this is all in the name of making sure Oklahoma Christian can just hold this line back as long as possible.
Manny over the top, through the back, just have to get the player with the objective, is going to do that. It's going to thwart that push for the moment. You need to win one of these big gunfights. You have to if you're in NWOSU. You're not going to be able to take it. That's one of those moments where you need that to keep the play alive. You fall there, time continues to dwindle. Oklahoma Christian now get the objective.
26 and 18 for Manny. 3 overloads from Gus, 2 from Derry. The Slayers doing the slaying. The players who like the objective doing exactly that. That's why Oklahoma Christian works so well, even with Derry plugged and played on this roster. Back to the opposite side of top green. You look to middle cut. Payload running directly towards you. Shots were good. Second one now. Try to get the Semtex stuck on one. You go 3 for 1 now, but Manny trades it immediately. Really, the problem here is like, okay, well, you were winning the gunfights on the south side of the map, but you didn't really, you just neglected to focus that you also had players coming from top green, so you had no information, no pressure that you could get up, and now it's just going to respawn back over by bottom red, and it's a death sentence trying to get that over the gate.
The transition across the map, flawless start for Oklahoma Christian.
Oh,
As
yeah.
they work their way through, that's going to be 4. I mean, again, you just have to pick your poison, right? Run out of spawn, figure out where these players could be elevated, what positions they could be sitting now as they continue to surge this red line forward as they try to get these players out of back spawn, give themselves another opening to put it in. You think surely if they put this one in, that should be the game. Derry's going to scoop, collect, and
wow.
just get stopped at the goal line. A sigh of relief in NWOSU, but that clock now dwindling under just about 90 seconds.
That counts your lucky stars. Nate goes massive and gets 2 for it. Did just enough to allow the teammates to come off the respawn, get the goal line stop. With 1 minute and 30, Oklahoma Christian's going to grab this once again. Trying to go south side of the map. Ran into a 1v1. Still bodies here. Derry looking for the one in the back line. Aggro finds it. 4v2. They push across the map, and they are flying forward this time. This is their best look that they've had so far. But they slow down, and they come to a grinding halt when everybody was spawning back green. And I know it's a gut check call, and you can't necessarily see that immediately. But those are the moments that you need with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the game. You just have to fly forward. Instead, you find nothing with it. And this is the difference between a team that's a well-seasoned veteran and championship team like Oklahoma Christian and NWOSU who are trying to get over the hump of top 8 for the first time.
Play perfectly separates that, and it's just a moment that you're not going to get back, and one that now you're not going to be set up for anything going forward. You get a quick score there, you can take advantage of the positioning you do have to relocate for new, and that's just not going to be the case as the bomb's still south side of the map waiting to be collected. And if you're Oklahoma Christian, yeah, you just have to play keep away at this point. You don't even have to look to try to do anything else. Buy yourself about 35 seconds of time. Keep these players off it. You know they have to surge, fly, and get these scores seemingly impossible to this point now as Manny's going to clean up the last one. Now they'll just set their sights forward, get these players off spawn cut down, less than 30 seconds remaining. Alex, Oklahoma Christian should be walking away with this.
Yep. The words that you hated to hear in the MW19 season when we were playing Domination, mathematically impossible, has struck us once again here in St. Louis. 15 seconds left, and Oklahoma Christian just waltzing their way on the journey back home to what will be another map win, comfortable as ever. Can't even grab that final payload to be able to dunk it in. And NWOSU tried their best throughout the first 3 maps they were able to play on LAN. Unfortunately, the Eagles just too strong. Oklahoma Christian 1-0 inside of Group A. They've got 2 more teams, but they are looking real nice at the moment to make it into the bracket.
Everyone's playing as well as you'd want. You said, you know, Derry's with the fill in. The objective players are getting to the objective. The Slayers are slaying. There is no hitch in their game to kick things off. And, yeah, they look fantastic for their opening map. Team's definitely going to take note and say, okay, yeah, that's going to affect our veto process potentially. But Oklahoma Christian, they look like you would expect Oklahoma Christian to look on LAN.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and no one was surprised. Oklahoma Christian, look, again, I know we have beat a dead horse about Cruz not being here, having to play with Derry instead, but again, the reason that the core 3 of Gosh, of Prada, of Manny, the reason that they continuously are in the spots every year is just because they play complementary Call of Duty to one another. There's a lot of teams that are out there that have individual players that are really, really good, but it's how you're able to mesh not only communication-wise, but with each other, how you challenge for somebody else, how you put your teammates in better positions, how you put your teammate or how you put yourself in a better position to allow your teammate to succeed, and just being able to have blind trust.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge thing for Oklahoma Christian. They've built that obviously over playing for the last better half of 4 years, but they've built trust along with one another and are able to really be in a spot now where they feel really, really confident and really good, even plugging in Derry into the system. So I promise I'm not going to keep hitting on that for the rest of the weekend. Yes, it's important. Yes, we're going to talk about it, but we're not going to be kind of like in that constantly. So, yeah, look, we got Manny at 38-24. Yeah, check that out. We got Manny sitting on the couch with us right now. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But On the opposite end, in Senna, I can't take any away from him. 32 and 30 for himself. But more or less, it's just the NTKs. 30 again for Manny, but it just everybody else on NWOSU, it just never felt like they were in positions where the tradability was there, where besides maybe that one burst of speed that they had to be able to hit out of sight or something like that, it was just kind of meaningless. So we'll look at the stats and highlight package one more time. Just take a look at the rest of our control. We're back in Black Ops 7, Black Ops 6. Overload here in map 3. But again, just take a look at this, man. We got Manny watching right now.
I can't believe you're taking streaks here.
You killed 3 in spawn, by the way, and then nobody was able to be there for your trade because Nate was flanking 2 in middle map and they didn't read them out for you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm cool just kind of like skipping over this and just getting Manny on here already if you want to, Robert. I mean, we can keep watching the replay package here as well and everything like that, but you know, it's kind of, we should probably get this one here, huh? Yeah, you sit right here. It's nice and warm.
It's nice and warm.
It's hot in the back there, too. Look, we do things differently on LAN than we do on broadcast. We can plan for things like this. Sometimes there's just no planning for some of the things that happen. But we got Manny on here now. We'll come back to the camera here in just a second. Great. Thank you so much. You played great. You looked great. You look great. So, walk us through not only the beginning of the series, but just the mindset of everything going into it. I know we talked to you guys before the series. You felt really confident still with the rest of the team, but one of the things that we highlighted so much was, you know, Cruz not being able to be here from graduation. How has Derry been able to come in and just play well with you guys on this roster for LAN?
Derry's been playing good. You see that S&D?
Uh-huh.
Derry's been playing good. I think it just like came down to like trying to get him comfortable. Obviously, like, he doesn't have like the same experience as we do. Like, we all compete in challengers.
Sure.
So like, we're trying to give him as many tips as possible. Just help him like play the game. To be honest, he's like, it's pretty good. So as long as we just like help him and make him like as comfortable as possible and make the game like easy for him, like we'll be good.
So with you guys, which is funny you talked about that because Alex and I were talking before you came over here, kind of about blind trust and the core 3 that you guys have, of course, with Gus and Brady. With that being able to give you guys the opportunity to kind of talk Derry through things, how much do you just know what each other wants to do around the map? How much is being coordinated and actually spoken versus trusting each other just to go out and do?
I feel like with me, Brady, and Gus, like we've been playing for so long. Like I think Brady's been 3 years and me and Gus have been like together 4 years. So we kind of just know how each other play, and it like really makes it easy to play. Obviously, we're calming, like still like how we want to play things, like.
Sure.
But like when it gets those like intense moments, like we already know like what each player is gonna do. Yeah. So like we kind of just play off that. And with Derry, like we're also like all really great friends. So like our chem is like really good. Yeah. Because we're always talking to each other like every day because we see each other in classes and stuff. So it's actually like pretty nice. I think Derry's like his playstyle is like very easy to like bring together as a team. So it's been like pretty easy to like adjusting to not having Cruz. Yeah. Honestly, they're 2 completely different players, like in their playstyles, but I think that like we're just like so good that like we can like just adjust.
Yeah.
Our team's been looking great.
Oh yeah, and it definitely shows. That's the intangibles we were.
See Derry with the sub, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Derry with the sub.
We were talking before. We were like, oh yeah, we gotta. You know, Derry's gonna fill here. He's gonna be on the AR role, and then he pulled out the SMG, and I was just in my mind. I'm like,
he went from Iron Man to run down mid.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about that S&D real quick?
What about it?
Yeah.
How the hell did y'all just come up with the fact that you guys were going to run it down every single round? Because you guys, not only did you guys run it down the first 4 rounds the exact same way, you guys mirrored in round 5 where you sent 1 person middle for the other team, 1 person middle for you, and then you guys sent 3 into bar. Y'all did the exact same thing for 5 straight rounds?
I don't even know. That was their map pick, by the way. That threw us off. That threw us off. Because, like, when we play them in the playoffs, and, like, I think we played them, like, 3 or 4 times this year. They're a very slow team. So when they picked Plaza, we're like, this is just like a 4-hit A every round. So, I mean, as you can see, 6-0. Yeah. Yo, Derry's running that bar. He's the bartender. He's the bartender. I'm telling you.
He was running it down. That was a fun map.
I don't know. Rum and Coke is nice, though.
Rum and Coke is nice. John had a couple of those last night. Nah, I'm kidding.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Well, look, so going forward for the rest of the weekend, obviously, feeling good after map 1. There's a lot of really talented teams still out there that you guys are going to have to go up against. Obviously, you're looking to Fisher in your own group. If you make it out of groups, you're going to have St. Clair on the other side as well. Those are the kind of least the teams that pop out to me immediately for you guys when it comes to the caliber that you guys have at least been facing up against every year so far. Off of back-to-back-to-back, though, 3 straight championships, going for number 4 this weekend. Where's the confidence at for you guys to be able to not only kind of culminate that into one final championship with this team, but be able to take on the likes of a really strong St. Clair team this year, a really strong Fisher roster?
I think that, especially not having crews, we kind of just have the mentality of, we have nothing to lose. So, honestly, we're just, giving it, everything that we have and just going out with, this is our final run because all of us actually graduated literally yesterday.
Oh, it was all of you guys?
Yeah, all 4 of us.
Why did Chris not come out?
His parents are visiting, his whole family, They're from New Zealand, so, his whole family, there's, 6, 7 people from his family that visited. So he wasn't able to make it out. But, this is our last run, so we're just going out with a bang.
And I think that's not scary in a sense, maybe for other teams, but it's you're already a team that is on the verge of a 4-peat. So to say, oh, we've got nothing to lose, I would hate to hear that from a team that's going for 4 in a row because it's if they have nothing to lose, what do we have to lose? So I think for you guys, I think, the chemistry shows even on the map. You can see you guys running around. There's a lot of trust in what you guys are doing. So, it's definitely on the table for you guys still. Like you said, we built the storyline of, Cruz not being here. What's it look like? It still looks like Oklahoma Christian. So I think you guys are going to do just fine this weekend. But yeah, you guys, I just hearing you say we're going to play like we have nothing to lose. I think that puts teams on notice alone.
My SMG duo Proto.
Running it
That's
down.
my G.
Running it down.
My Asian duo, too.
When are you guys going to get those pictures dropped?
What pictures?
The ones you took in the conference room earlier in the day.
I have no idea.
I want to see those again.
I want to see them.
You guys look great.
Do we?
Yeah.
You really look great.
Oh, thank you. Stop
You guys
it.
look great. You guys look great on here.
Thank you.
To be honest. Wow. It's great to be on this couch. Wait, you guys got a backdrop and everything. Yo.
Yeah, they treat us well.
They got you guys nice.
Those vibes.
Oh, man, it's hot in there, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah. If you guys at home don't understand the back room in there, they had to get an entire separate AC tank.
There's 2.
Spray air in there, and it is hot. They got PCs going in there, so we're trying to keep them as cool as we possibly can. But again, congratulations. A nice little 3-0 there.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the rest of you guys in group play here.
Congrats.
Thank you. All right, guys.
What happened? No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna sign us off before you went. No, you're good. All right, well, let me scoot back into the middle real quick. Let's see. We can just recap this real quick and say goodbye for a second. Oklahoma Christian 3-0 over in NWOSU. That is going to do it again for what has been our first of what is going to be, I believe, 6 matches that we have on stream here today for everybody in totality. The 20-4 Oklahoma Christian roster came into this as the number 2 seed inside of Group A, looking good so far. They will have to play up against Fisher as well as I had the other team literally on my mind before I said it, Cumberland inside of Group A. So that is going to be where they need to get out of in order to make it to Group Play. They start out 1-0. Like we said beforehand, probably going to need to win 2 games to be able to get out of there. Maybe 1 and 2 if you start looking at head-to-heads, but I think that's almost impossible. Yeah. So that is the road ahead. Final thoughts on what we just saw here between these 2 teams?
3-0 on your first map or first series. Yeah, you can't get off to a much better start. So I think Oklahoma Christian, especially talking to Manny, I think they are very content with where they are to kick things off. It's still a long day ahead of us, but yeah, I think that's about as good as you want to start the day. And NWOSU, back to the drawing board a little bit. You still have a lot of cut ahead of you. Absolutely do.
All right, well, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to have our second out of what will be, I believe, again, 6 matches that we have here for Saturday. We got a long day. Lock in live here from the Impact Gaming Center in St. Louis. I'm Corin. With me, Cash. We'll be back with the CCL Finals in just a bit.